Hello, friends. It's your boy Jeff back with you after a couple week layoff, but this is actually my second video of the day. If you saw my video from earlier today, I went to an estate sale and I happened to meet Emma, 8 Vinyl Low, and we went to the sale and looked at all the crappy records together. Very nice girl, and her channel is great too, as I'm sure you all know. So. But unfortunately, this video is not going to be anything at all about records because I've only played like 2 records in the last 2 weeks. So I really don't have anything to show or talk about in that realm. And B, I've got a pile of stuff here that I'm anxious to show because, well, I'll explain that in a minute. But for all of those of you who watch my videos for the records and for the music, turn back now because none of that will be in this video. So I just want to give that disclaimer and I just want to let everyone know because I don't want to waste anyone's time. So for those of you that are still here, welcome. Thank you. Try and straighten this up a little bit. Sitting in a different part of the room here where I usually make my videos, in the front room. Last week, I got a phone call from my folks, and they were talking with me again, which was nice. And I told them that I wanted to go up into their attic crawl space and dig out a lot of things that I knew were up there that I wanted to bring home because I've been feeling in a sentimental mood lately. So they said sure, so I went over there. This was last Monday, a week ago Monday, and went over there, visited for a bit, and I was able to climb up there, and it was blazingly hot because last week the weather here was really, really hot, and of course in that cramped crawl space with very little airflow, it was very hot and sweaty up there. But it was worth it because I found a lot of stuff up there that I thought had been gone forever. And a few things that I knew were up there that I was hoping were still in decent shape. And I got a couple surprises too. So if you're a comic book nerd like me, a book nerd like me, a Star Wars nerd, particularly Star Wars toy nerd, there's something here for you. And what else? Oh, I've got a couple of other random Star Wars items. Posted pictures of a lot of this stuff on Facebook already, but I know not all of you follow me on Facebook or Instagram. So I think we're going to start. Well, first, let me start by taking a drink. Oh, what's this, you say? Why, it's the Return of the Jedi glass from Burger King when Return of the Jedi came out in 1983. This was one of the things that I thought was broken and gone, but turns out it wasn't. So I was thrilled to find this. I used to have, I know there was, the set was 4 glasses, and I had like a second glass, but I know that one's long gone. But this is the Lone Survivor. And it's really the coolest one because it's got Luke and Vader fighting with their lightsabers. So, cheers, everyone. Ha! That's had to be the first thing I showed. For those of you who like comics, I don't know if you've ever seen, it's more like a comic magazine, but it's the Savage Sword of Conan, the Barbarian. And I had a stack of magazines in a box that I thought was gone forever, but I happened to cross them and I'm like, oh my God, these are coming home with me. So let me show you. I've got number 100. Most of these are in pretty decent shape. What's my oldest one? I think I got number 12 here. Number 12. These all came out in the smoking 70s. There's number 15. That one's pretty cool. And they're black and white magazines. They've got black and white, usually a main story featuring Conan, and then they'll usually have a backup feature sometimes, and articles too. So that's kind of cool. I thought I had number 8 around here. That was my number. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 6. I think this is the oldest one that I've got. Savage Sword of Conan, number 6. And here's number 10. I'm just showing you some random ones here. I've got about maybe a dozen magazines here, so that's pretty cool. I used to read this stuff, you know, when I was in 5th, 6th grade, stuff like that. I would take one of these and I would slip it into my folder and take it to school with me and read it when I was supposed to be paying attention to other things. Oops. As far as books that I also ate up like candy when I was a little kid were the Hardy Boys. And again, when I was in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, I would go to the drive-in theater when there used to be a drive-in in lovely old Burbank, Illinois, which is right next to Oak Lawn. They would have a flea market every weekend, and there would be a guy there. I'm just showing you some random ones here. I don't have a complete set. I've got like 35 out of the 60 books that were in the set. I thought I had them all at one time, but obviously I don't anymore. I have just some of them. But anyway, I would go every weekend, and there would be a guy, you know, a seller there who had a table full of books, and he also had the Hardy Boys. So every week I would get like 1 or 2 of these, read it, and then by the time the next weekend came around, I was ready for another one. So these were, I remember these very well. These are not the original series. These were the edited, revised editions that came out starting in like the mid-50s up through like the mid-70s. And because the original Hardy Boys books came with a dust jacket, whereas these have the picture printed directly on the cover. And all of these books are probably in the 180 to 200 page range. And I guess they were originally like 220 or 230 pages. So, but I didn't know that when I was a kid. I just knew these were fun reads, you know, basic little mysteries for a young adult audience, you know. So I'm not going to show you every single one, but I basically picked them based on the cover, based on what I thought was a cool cover, and I would just grab that. And then later on, I know I would grab the other ones to fill in the entire run, and that was really where my OCD of completism started coming into play. To a limited degree. I mean, I'm not crazy about it. Here's another very colorful covers on these books, very cool pictures. So, and you know, they were obviously well enough written to keep my interest or keep the kids' interest. I should reread one here whenever I get time. God knows when that'll be, just to see how they hold up. But yeah, I was pretty happy to come across those. In terms of rock biographies, got Hammer of the Gods here. This came out right in the middle of my high school years, right when I was heavily into Zeppelin. So of course this was a must-read book, and I thought this one was gone for a long time. I got, of course, this one here. No One Here Gets Out Alive. Story of Jim Morrison and the Doors. For all you Doors fans out there, I know there are a bunch of you out there. This was a decent read, as I recall. And then I also did a bunch of true crime books like Wise Guy. This was the book that was turned into the movie Goodfellas, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And of course, I got Prince of the City, which was also made into a movie, but I was not as successful as Goodfellas was. Of course, I read Serpico, We all know that was made into a movie featuring Al Pacino. And then I also got, man, I thought this was gone too. I remember getting Helter Skelter at a used paperback shop back in like the 80s, and I read this and it creeped the fuck out of me. I'm not going to reread it again to see if it'll still do it, but at the time, this thing was pretty goddamn spooky. And even spookier was this one here. It's about John Wayne Gacy. And he was an Illinois boy, so we heard a lot about Gacy when that case hit. It was on the news every single day. I remember every time I watched the news when I was a kid in the late 70s, all they talked about was Gacy. So a lot of that was pretty interesting, at least to me, and was nice to see some of these books and get them back. I'm sorry if the picture keeps getting dark. That might be because of this. Maybe it's because of the shade. Let me see if I can raise this up a little bit here. Getting a little bit too much glare. Sorry about that. Okay, that's pretty much the reading part, because I was a massive book nerd when I was growing up. All I did was read, whether it was comic books, Hardy Boy novels, a lot of the stuff I showed you, some classics here and there, and I've always loved to read, and I still do. I just don't have the time anymore, which is really depressing. Yeah, keeps getting dark and light here. Huh. All right, I'm going to talk quicker. Also, in that box of Savage Sword of Conan's, I found the comic adaptation of Return of the Jedi. Still in very nice shape. All collected into one magazine, printed on nice paper. Of course, one of the pages just popped out. But it's still in one piece, mostly, so that's good. I also found this Return of the Jedi collector's magazine, and it just has articles and pictures in it from the movie. So that was pretty cool. I was glad to get that. Set that over here. What else? On the Star Wars toy front, first and foremost, I got back my Darth Vader case full of action figures. And this is what really set me back on wanting to get this when I got those Star Wars figures on Father's Day from my wife and one of my best friends. So, not everything that I remember is here, but I did get, this is my original Luke from the first movie, of course. And this is my original Kenobi. You can see they're a little scuffed up. They're a little worse for wear, but they're still all there, and they still have their little pop-out lightsaber, which is nice. I've got Greedo, which I used to use these figures for target practice. And if you look right there, you can see the dent in his groin area where I hit him with a BB one day when I was shooting at them. Of course, I've got my original Sand Person, Tusken Raider. Original Vader, minus the cape, but still with the lightsaber. So that's cool. And I've got a lot of figures from the Empire movie too. Like Bossk. I seem to recall that this was like I think this was a mail away figure you had to do first before they released it as an actual figure. You got this guy here, Dengar. He was another of the bounty hunters. Just I got a couple stormtroopers. I got Hammerhead, which was from the first movie. They made figures of just every random character there was, and they all sold because kids like me bought them. So, and I thought I had more guns to go with these figures than I do. I've got a few, but I thought I had way more, but I obviously don't. But in any case, here was my here's my figures. I am thrilled to have them back, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them. If I'm going to display them somewhere, I would like to. But no matter what, I'm just glad that I have them back. Related to that, I had no idea that I still had my old X-Wing up there too. I found it in a box. It's obviously it's missing all the decals. You can see where they all fell off. They all dried up and fell off. But other than that, the ship is solid, and it still goes into X-Wing mode, as you can see. And then you pull the thing, and it draws the wings back. I haven't put batteries in it to see if the little light there still shines and the alarm buzzes, but and apparently, according to my friend George, this canopy piece here is hard to come by, and I guess it always used to break on people, and they're very expensive to replace. But aside from cleaning it up, I don't need to, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I was pretty surprised to see that I still had this. So that's cool. To me, I think that is. And what else? I also got some puzzles. Found some Star Wars puzzles. I showed a lot of these puzzles on Facebook. So if I can just move these over, one of the more interesting things that I found, or I should say that my dad gave me, is this mask right here of Darth Vader. The box is mint, and the mask itself was a two-piece affair. Show you quickly while I'm here. Taking out the bags. I remember he bought this for Halloween one year. This is the helmet. And he dressed up as Darth Vader. And I remember, I think one year for Halloween, when I was big enough, here's the face piece, and then it just fits together like that. So, yeah, we made my ma sewed like a long black cape that, tied around your neck. And my dad made like a panel, like Darth Vader's panel. It was like a piece of cardboard with like a milk cap on it and some other little buttons that he would just like glue on. And I was Darth Vader one year for Halloween. You want me to try the mask on, don't you? I know, I can hear you. I can hear you, Eric. I can hear you over there going, put the mask on. Your wish is my command. This face piece is kind of tight, but I can get it on. So hold on. We're going to do this right now. And then this goes here. Nice, huh? I don't know if you can hear me. It's really loud in here when I talk, and I really can't see too well, but what do you think? Darth Jeff, yeah? Yeah. So there you go. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought you guys might be interested in seeing that. So I'll just set this off to the side here for now. And finally, the one thing that I knew was up in that attic crawl space that I desperately wanted to get back for quite a while now. And if you guys know the show Space 1999, which was a show that came out in the 70s, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit this all in one frame. This is the Eagle One. There we go. This is the Eagle One spaceship from Space 1999. Of course, it's missing some parts. It had cones on the back here for the thrusters, and underneath you can see it's missing 3 of the 4 of the big feet, but the smaller feet are still there, and then these cones here still got 3 out of 4, so that's not too bad. Still dirty. I still got to clean it up, but this was the thing that everybody wanted to play with when I was a kid. I got this for Christmas. Geez, 45 years ago, something like that. And it's one of those things that you just didn't see around too much. And it's just a cool looking ship. So it never got thrown out or destroyed too badly like a lot of the other things did. Obviously, it's missing a door here. I know there's replacement parts on eBay. This is what the door is supposed to look like here. And then you've got, chairs in there. This originally came with like 3 action figures. Those are long gone. But replacement parts on this thing are pretty pricey. But I'd like to find some decals for it and just try to put it back the way it was. So getting the Eagle One back I was nerding out when I unearthed this up there. So this was probably the biggest thrill for me out of this whole pile of stuff. And of course, a lot of this stuff is going to end up going into storage, but I just want to have it. This is my childhood here that I'm showing you. All this stuff here. It's all part of early Jeff. So I'll work on cleaning some of this stuff up. I'd like to put them somewhere around the house to show it, but this house is pretty packed as it is, so I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I wanted to share it all with you because you're my friends. So I want to share all my stuff with you. So that's pretty much it. I've had this nerd video percolating in the back of my mind for the last week and a half, so I just haven't had time to make anything or do anything about it. So there you go. Regularly scheduled programming will be back next time. I want to get in on the 10 bands thing that a lot of people have been doing videos on. That'll probably be the next thing I do. Spin Zone will be a while. I just haven't listened to anything lately, and I need to start playing some more records. Maybe that's why I feel so weird. I haven't played records enough over the last 2 weeks. And that's the problem. We got to have music constantly going in our lives to keep us going, right? I know I do. Okay, that's going to be it for me for now. Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, if you made it to the end, I love you. And I will see you again soon, hopefully sooner than later. So until then, take care. Peace.